my online girlfriend, but her anxiety is raging.
I mean, it's scary meeting up in public and in person.
Me for real. A couple of years ago, I, 29 male, met a girl, 29 female, through an online circle. We talked frequently, and it was always a great time. She's very passionate about a lot of the same things I am and is very career-driven, which is something I'm looking for.
Cute.
By the way, this comes from Throw Away the Used, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, early last year, she opened up about having feelings for me, which I was receptive to.
Let's go.
We started spending more time online together, and eventually it got to the point where she would be telling her coworkers and family members about her boyfriend. This didn't bother me too much. I'm very interested. But for me, I had to meet her to seal that deal. Fast forward to Christmas, and my gift to her was going to be a trip up to meet her, USA to Canada. The trip was very expensive, but worth it. We had talked about me going to meet her a few times and thought it was better that way, as she has a lot of anxiety, very important for later.
Wait, so are they boyfriend, girlfriend now, but they have not yet met in person?
Well, it seems like they're boyfriend, girlfriend on her side, and he's just like, I guess.
Yeah, we're boyfriend, girlfriend on my mom's side.
And health issues that would make it much harder for her, especially in this current political climate. Well, that trip happened this weekend. I'm currently typing this out from my hotel room, which I've spent the vast majority of my time here alone in.
Cash money.
The trip to see her started off how I expected. I don't know the city at all. It's a country I've only been to a few times, and I was nervous myself. I took a 40-minute Uber to my hotel and expected that by the time I got there, she would have worked out her nerves and be ready to meet me. Unfortunately, her anxiety was extra bad, and it took her another 2 hours to work up the courage to drive 5 minutes to come see me. This didn't bother me at the time. I knew it'd be rough, and I'm a patient dude for the most part. We met, she was shaking and bawling her eyes out, but overall, it was great. Dang, that's tough.
I guess there's a lot of buildup.
We shared some hugs and we drove to her place. She lives with her brother, so I was able to meet him and we chilled out for a little while. Her anxiety was still through the roof though, so we didn't actually do much for the next couple of hours. She wanted to drive around and show me stuff, but couldn't. Eventually, she decided I should probably Uber back instead of her driving me. The next morning, I was up extra early. She usually works nights, so I figured she wouldn't be up for a bit. Not knowing the city, I chose to stay in and wait until she was awake. 4 hours later, she messaged me. We talked for a bit, and she told me she wasn't quite ready to see me as the nerves were still there. That's fine. I found a substance store in walking distance where I could pick some stuff up and get us some food at a local spot before meeting up. Fast forward about 2 hours later, and I finally get back to her place. She doesn't eat anything and tells me that her brother, her, and I are going to go to a get-together and hang out with a bunch of their friends. That's cool. I ask her how long we'll be there, and she said a few hours. We leave, and it's about an hour drive.
So it sounds like right now she's kind of introducing him to her world.
Yeah.
Besides all the anxiety and stuff, I don't know if I see like too many red flags.
Which also, it seems like she thoroughly prepared him for it, because he was like, yeah, I expected to wait 3 hours.
Yeah.
Every one of her friends was great, super welcoming, and she seemed really happy to introduce me as her boyfriend. The little party lasted a good portion of the night. We didn't talk much, as I was usually getting bounded by her friends, or she was playing a game or something. Around 10, when we go to leave and there's still plenty of night left, I figured she tends to be up until 3 or 4 in the morning, so...
Dang, get some sleep, girl.
Well, I mean, he said he woke up and she texted like 4 hours later, so...
That's crazy.
So I was pretty pumped to get to spend the rest of the night together. However, as we get in the car, she asks her brother if it's cool that she takes me to the hotel before they go home. He says, yeah. And I just get to sit in shock the whole way back that she's too drained to spend a couple of hours of quality time with her boyfriend she just met. At this point, it's all starting to catch up to me and I'm feeling pretty bad.
So he's like, oh, I'm being left out.
Yeah. But the thing is, it seems like he's expecting a lot more closeness, which is valid.
I mean, I do think that is valid, seeing that he flew out to a country he's never been to spend time with her.
And she's also calling him her boyfriend.
Yeah, but not necessarily acting with the closeness that title.
However, it's also kind of somewhat understandable that she's treating him like a stranger or, a new friend because he is. Like they've never met in person.
I mean, I think they have enough closeness that at least like the communication should be there. But it seems like the main issue is just she's not spending like time with him.
One-on-one, yeah. I get back to the hotel room and I'm just confused by this whole trip. I'm alone in a hotel room in a country I don't know with my girlfriend a few minutes away, not knowing what to do. What the heck is going on? I fear messaging her about it is going to make her anxiety worse, but at this point, I don't know what to do. Communicate. I think that if you are afraid that you can't even communicate because of her anxiety, that's not going to work. You have to communicate. And also, it probably would help with alleviate some areas of anxiety because a lot of anxiety is making up terrible scenarios about, things that you don't know for sure. I'm set to meet her mom in the evening for dinner. And at this point, I feel like I've met everyone except for my girlfriend. So I message her that. She's very apologetic, saying her anxiety is through the roof still, and she wanted to make this trip worth it for me, but she's just drained. She makes an effort to let me know she's still very interested in everything, but she knows if we're alone together, nothing would happen because she's just too nervous. She hasn't been in a relationship in a couple of years, so it's hard for her. I tell her I don't even want to try anything intimate if that was her fear. I've barely hugged her this trip, and there's a lot more steps in that process before anything like that could happen. I just want to spend more quality time together. And she said tomorrow, after I meet her mom, there will probably be time. I mean, I understand that he literally flew out, but it does feel like everything is being rushed. And also simultaneously, this feels like the first meeting.
It's like, let me introduce you to all my family and all my friends, but also let's not spend too much time together. I feel like if we were to rewrite this a little bit and try to maybe take it a little more balanced on either side, it would be like, let's not meet the whole family. Let's
not call each other boyfriend, girlfriend until we met each other.
See how it is to hang out one-on-one. And then maybe let's add the title of boyfriend and all the parents meeting.
I do think it is fair that she wanted to meet him with other people around. I think that's kind of a safety thing. But I feel like it's weird to do that and call him your boyfriend. I feel like it sends some kind of mixed messages.
I feel like spending some time one-on-one, if you want this relationship to progress, you got to do it. Might be scary, but you got to do it.
All that said, today is my last day here. I leave early tomorrow morning on a flight. I feel like this whole thing has been a waste, and I'm still just confused. I wanted to spend quality time with her, not sit in a hotel room alone for most of my trip. In my mind, she would want to be with me every waking moment of this trip. Our time is so short. We've talked about it for ages, and I thought that was going to be the case. I don't know if the relationship can last after this. And there are some comments and an update. Any thoughts?
I mean, if she can't spend one-on-one time with you, the relationship isn't going to work. So yeah, I can understand this kind of like this trip shaking your trust in the relationship. Again, I would talk to her about that as soon as you can.
The problem is that everything that she's probably worried about of getting to know you can't be fixed once you go back to just an online relationship.
Exactly. Like he is right. This is precious time. You got to use it.
Art You on email says, you have one more night in this city. You will probably not visit again. I say go out, explore the city with whatever time you have left, find some cool local food stuff and go to a bar or two. Sorry your trip has not worked out like you would have liked it to, but might as well make the most of what little time you have left. Franjo Manjo says, you had to give it a shot, but it sounds like it didn't work out. You need to be honest and tell her how this made you feel. If she wants to keep seeing you, she's got to travel to you next time. If she's too anxious for that, then you're not compatible and wasting your time. Yesterday morning, I woke up, made the original post, and waited nervously for her to wake up. It once again took a couple of hours. A little after noon, she finally messaged me. Is this girl going to bed at 3 a.m. every day?
You know what? Time difference.
She said we had dinner in the later afternoon with her mother, and I could Uber over to her place whenever. A few of you suggested I should just call off the dinner plans, but I decided to stick it through.
I don't like how he traveled all the way over to there, and now he's having to like Uber to her.
Yeah. I went up to her place shortly after that, and we spent some time watching things. She was having a better day, so we sat close. And while we didn't do anything, brother was in the small house, it was some quality time I had been looking for, so she brought it back.
Oh, dude, maybe she can save it, but I'm not super hopeful right yet.
Dinner with her mother was great. We connected well, and she seemed to genuinely be excited for me and her daughter. We left with a hug from her mom and went back to her place. It was a lot more of the same thing as before, so while it wasn't alone time with her, it did feel more one-on-one, and we had a good time. Was it exactly what I was expecting on the last day of this trip? Not really, but was it nice? Definitely. It was getting late, and I was half expecting her to want me to Uber back, but she drove me herself. She helped me confirm my packing for the flight early this morning, and we ended with a kiss.
Okay. They smooched. We brought it back. Let's go. I think if they hadn't smooched, it would have been done. Dead in the water. But the smooch might give it a few more months at the very least.
We got to texting a bit and we realized she hadn't taken a photo of us for a frame she had bought. I was pretty sad that we hadn't, and the few pictures of us from that weekend didn't really fit the vibe she was going for. I mentioned that I should just Uber back. 10 minutes later, waiting for a response, and she tells me to come down. Anxiety be danged. She did drive back just for the photo and another goodbye smooch. Okay.
I think we are looking much better than the last update.
So overall, it wasn't the perfect weekend, but I'm going to stay cautiously optimistic. I think it was a mistake to not make the trip longer. Honestly, it seems like a couple days. Honestly, it probably would have been better for you to have that kind of awkwardness buffer. Well, we'll see how things go when she has to decide if she wants to make the solo trip down here for an event closer to the summer. By the way, you can make a solo trip down to your favorite podcast app, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, and search a Bookie Storytime, because we got episodes just like this.
Plus more. Days and days and days of nonstop audio into your ear holes.
But there's a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, so what he said is like, I want her to come to me next time. Yeah. I doubt that she's going to be able to. If she's having this much anxiety on her home turf, there's no way she's going to get on a whole plane. She can't even get in a car.
She worked up to it.
She worked up to it, but I guess I'm just like, let's see if she can handle you going there again.
I think you just have to talk about her chipping into the flight stuff, you know? Like, I think in her ideal world, it probably would have been best to go for someone who is a little bit closer to home. But this is kind of how it worked out. And it seems like her anxiety is not going to go away. It's going to be a big part of your relationship.
I guess I just don't want him to build up this expectation. It's like, yeah, she's going to come to me next. You know, I just don't think that's realistic. But we got a little bit more of the story. Let's see.
To clear some things up, she's on medication and goes to a therapist, though her current therapist is very new to her. Normally, I wouldn't be into a long-distance relationship, but our likes and interests align well, and it's something I've struggled to find around me back home. My last relationship was decently long and taught me that was something I valued a lot. And some last comments. Grimwork says, hey, I just wanted to say that I get where you're coming from. Years ago, I met someone online and we talked and connected in ways I never had with another person, but she was 3,000 miles away from me in the US, her in the UK. Oof. We did the whole online thing for months, and even online it got spicy. But when she came with her brother to meet me in New York, it was weird for the first few days. I think the issue here is it was a very short time for her, especially since she has all kinds of anxiety. Meeting you was probably the most anxious thing for her, so in a way, you were the reason why she was so standoffish. I will say, for me, it's now 17 years later, and we've been married for 15 of those.
I love that.
I'm now in the UK with her after years of her living in the US for me. The bemused muse. I had an online friend, and we were chatting for a decade or more. It became apparent that we were probably in love with each other, but one or other of us has always been in a relationship. Well, one day we were both single and we were like, well, should probably find out. So I traveled 5,000 miles to see her, and there was no spark. All the 10 years of friendship, flirting, closeness, nothing in person. Anyhow, my man, you're doing better than me. I wish you luck. You know what? I think this comment right before this comment, I think had a great point of sometimes meeting people in person is just really awkward. And then you need a minute to get over the awkwardness. Like, that's just how it is.
So I'm meeting up with one of my friends that I haven't seen in like 5 or 6 years for the first time. I think that's going to be kind of weird. I'm a little nervous, but is that the end of that story?
That is the end of that story.